Hey everyone, welcome to Hooper's Radar. Today we're back and we're going to be reviewing the NBA All-Star fan vote returns. We're going to be doing the first returns and of course the most recent second returns. So starting off with the first returns, we have the East first returns. Starting with the front court, we have Giannis, which is pretty obvious. Giannis has been amazing this year and is always in that MVP conversation as a top 3 player in the league right now. And the Bucks do sit at the second seed, I believe, so Giannis makes sense. Joel Embiid, of course, the former MVP and is having another MVP caliber year. Also another top 5 player in the league. This makes sense. Tatum, the best player on the number 1 seed in the East right now, so this 100% makes sense. Then we have Jimmy Butler, who I think is pretty high for a player that we all know isn't that good in the regular season. And he hasn't really been that healthy this season. He's been on and off, playing games here and there. So Jimmy Butler 4 is pretty high, but I think it's the notability of Jimmy Butler. We all know what he actually is, especially in the playoffs. And Jimmy Butler at 4. 5, they have Jaylen Brown, who obviously has been the second best player on the Celtics for a good amount of games. Sometimes he really isn't. Sometimes it's guys like Derek White, Drew, and Porzingis. But Jaylen Brown is still up here because we all still know he's an all-star caliber player. 6, they got Bam Adebayo, and of course he is the most important player, I believe, on the Heat in terms of regular season success. He's the all-star that stays the healthiest, and he is a defensive player of the year candidate every year, so I like Bam here. I think he does deserve it. 7, they have Mikal Bridges, the best player, arguably the best player besides Cam Thomas on the Nets. It's one of them too, but Mikal Bridges because of that two-way prowess that he does bring. So I got Mikal Bridges at 7. 8, Porzingis. So this is the third Celtics fans have voted in, and Porzingis has honestly had a very good year. I think the Celtics should at least have 2 All-Stars, maybe even 3, because they are the top seed in the East. 9, they have Kyle Kuzma of the Wizards. Obviously, the Wizards have had no success this year and have just been atrocious, but Kyle Kuzma has been their best player, and they're the guy on the Wizards with the best stats for sure. Number 10, Paolo Banchero, who I think should be way higher. The Orlando Magic are in the playoff hunt right now and are currently in the playoffs if they were to start tomorrow. And Paolo has been the best player on the Magic. You can pick between either him or Franz, but I like to go Paolo, and I think Paolo does have far more potential than Franz. So they have Paolo at 10. I think he should definitely be above Kuzma, above Porzingis, and arguably above Mikal Bridges, but we'll see what happens as the other returns come in. Okay, number 1 for the guards is Tyrese Halliburton. So this All-Star game is taking place in Indianapolis, I believe, so it only makes sense that since it's taking place in Tyrese Halliburton's home team and home turf, that Halliburton does get the favorite vote here, and he does, easily coming in by a lot of votes at number 1 at 1,380,795 votes. Halliburton's had an elite year, so this makes 100% sense. 2 is Damian Lillard. Obviously, Dame hasn't had as great of a year as his past ones, but he still has been pretty good this year, and of course he is a big name in the NBA, and the Bucks are the 2 seed, so he's coming in at number 2. 3, Trae Young. He's had a great year so far despite the Hawks not really succeeding much in the winning column. Number 4, Donovan Mitchell. He's had a very good year so far, and the Cavaliers are looking pretty solid this year, so I agree with this. Maxey at 5. I love to see this. Maxey's had such a great year so far and is taking another step, and Philly is, I believe, a top 4 seed, top 3 seed in the East. Somebody fact check me, but Maxey has been great, and I would like to see him a little bit higher, but he does have a lot of competition, but Maxey has been great. 6, Jalen Brunson, who's also been really good, and yeah, Brunson makes 100% sense, the best player on the Knicks, and the Knicks have had a lot more success since he came into New York. 7, LaMelo Ball, who has had his injury struggles, but I like to see him here. He is balling on that Hornets team that can't seem to get wins very often, so I like LaMelo at 7. 8, we have Derek White. I don't know why Derek White's on this list. The Celtics already have enough All-Stars in my opinion, and Jaylen Brown and Tatum and even maybe Porzingis. Derek White is a great role player. If there was an All-Stars for an All-Star game or All-Star selection for role players, Derek White would definitely be there, but he has no business on this list. Then DeMar DeRozan. The Bulls have been pretty mediocre, but I think either DeRozan or LaVine should get an All-Star at least for that Bulls team because they both are talented offensive players, but DeRozan's had a slower year than usual. So, and then they got Drew Holiday. Man, Celtics fans really went all out, man. They really showed out for their team because they got 5 guys on this All-Star vote return right now. That's the East. Let's go to the returns for the West. The West, we're looking at the front court. Number 1, LeBron James. Makes sense. The face of the league. He's been atop this list for I don't know how many years, and LeBron James just makes a lot of sense. Whether the Lakers are even in playoff contention or not, LeBron will be an all-star until he retires every single year. 2, Kevin Durant. Of course, he's also just as much as LeBron. Kevin Durant could be on a tanking team and he'll still get it, but the Suns have been solid this year, and Durant makes it at 2. 3, Jokic, who I think should be 1, but he isn't as big of a name and I guess as marketable as these two guys are. But Jokic still comes in at 3 as the former MVP and former NBA champion, reigning NBA champion. So Jokic makes 100% sense. He's been elite this year. Anthony Davis, who was on the Lakers beside LeBron, has been arguably Defensive Player of the Year this year and is always such an amazing player and Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 5, they have Kawhi Leonard, who has been elite recently and has always been a big name, so this makes sense. And the Clippers are pretty high in the West as of recent, so Paul George is also having another great elite year who just comes right behind Kawhi, so I agree with this. 7 is Sengun, who I would love to see make it. The Rockets have been, kind of tippy-toeing and staying 500, but they've stayed 500, I believe, and Sengun has been the best player on that Rockets team. 8, they got Victor Wembanyama. I think this is just inevitable. I think we're going to see Victor get an all-star appearance his first year as a rookie. He's just been really good. And let's all be honest, as much as we like guys like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson on the Spurs, I think it's pretty clear that Victor is the best player on this team already in his first year. 9, they have Chet Holmgren, who is also in that Rookie of the Year candidate. But I don't know about Chet, man. He's been really good this year, but I just don't think the Thunder deserve 2 All-Stars. I mean, I believe they're already the 2 seed in the West, which is crazy. I mean, Chet could get it. Shea's definitely going to get it. But if they're going for that number 2 guy, I think Chet could get it on the Thunder. We'll see. But he's been really good his rookie year. And then 10, we have Karl-Anthony Towns on the Timberwolves, who have been the 1 seed for majority of the season so far. And Cat comes in at 10. We'll see what happens with Cat. I think Anthony Edwards is definitely a lock. Number 1, they have Luka for the guards. This makes sense, man. The Mavericks are still a playoff team, and Luka's just insane. We all know that. 2, Stephen Curry. This is just guaranteed at this point, whether the Warriors are even a playoff team or not. Luka and Curry have been the starting backcourt for already, I think, the last 4 years. 3, they have Shea. This is also a lock. He's been putting up elite numbers and is on top of the West right now. I believe the Thunder are near the top of the West. 4, James Harden. I don't really agree with this one much, man. As much as Harden has turned it around for the Clippers because they started off slow and they've been hot lately, Harden's stats aren't all-star caliber. Like, he isn't putting all-star caliber stats, but maybe because he missed a previous all-star, the Clippers fans are trying to, get him this one, but I just don't know. I don't think James Harden is all-star caliber this year. He's all-star role player, definitely, but I don't know. I hope I don't make Clippers fans mad, but he isn't. I don't think he's an all-star this year, but he might get it. He's already number 4 according to the fan vote. 5, they have Kyrie. He's been really good this year. I agree with this one. Either him or Luka, but Luka's definitely a lock, so Kyrie would be a nice add-on as an all-star, but Kyrie's had a pretty good year, and he's been turning up lately. 6, they have Anthony Edwards. This is a lock. Timberwolves have also been atop the West for a good amount of the season, so I definitely do agree with this one. Number 7, Ja Morant. I don't know about Ja Morant, man. I mean, I know he's the best player when healthy on the Grizzlies, but as far as availability and health this year, he's missed a lot of games for the Grizzlies, man. I mean, I know Grizzlies fans want to show out and get Ja, but honestly, if I was a Grizzlies fan, I don't know. I think you guys should go more towards the Desmond Bane route. He's been a lot healthier for you this year, and he's been more consistent, I feel like. And he's been really good this year. Desmond Bane's been really good this year, but I understand why they want to go for Ja. I just think Desmond Bane would be a better pick for Memphis, but let me know, Grizzlies fans. Let me know what you guys think, man. Fox, I agree with this one. I don't know why Fox is so low. The Kings have been a pretty good team this year, and Fox has just had a great year. Fox should definitely be here. 9, Klay Thompson. I don't know what Klay is doing on here. He's had such a mediocre year. Man, I don't know what Warriors fans are just trolling at this point. And then 10, Austin Reeves, another example, man. The Lakers fans are just trying to get Austin Reeves in here. Austin Reeves is not an all-star. Come on, guys. He's an all-star role player, though. I'll tell you that. Another guy I missed notably on here, Sabonis. But we'll see what happens when the second returns. So the second returns, we're going right here. Starting with the East, still have Giannis, still have Embiid, still have Tatum. All guys that are elite, it makes sense. Jimmy Butler's still here as well, who's pretty well held it up. 5, Jaylen Brown still. Porzingis. I think Porzingis has a good chance of actually getting it. And he's been pretty good this year and putting up good stats. So Porzingis has a good chance of getting it. And then Bam. I think Bam is definitely above Porzingis, but we'll see what happens. Then Julius Randle got into the mix. I believe they took Kyle Kuzma off. Julius Randle took him. I think Julius Randle deserves it far more than Kyle Kuzma. Even if the Knicks end up having 2 All-Stars, Julius Randle has still been really good in the regular season and is always good in the regular season. He's always an All-Star player in the regular season. It's just the playoffs he comes apart in the playoffs. 9, Paolo. Of course, this makes sense still. And then Mikal Bridges at 10. I like this East list definitely a lot. Okay, for the guards, we have Tyrese Halliburton still. Like to see that. Trae Young. Obviously, with the Halliburton thing, just get him an injury replacement. I still want him to get that All-Star. He deserves it. He's been so elite this year. 2, Trae Young still. 3, Damian Lillard. Makes sense. I just think Dame's a little high. I think it's more of his name and the Bucks being the 2 seed carrying him up here because he hasn't really been as elite as other years past, but it's still fine. I still think Dame is an All-Star in this league. 4, Donovan Mitchell. Yep. 5, Tyrese Maxey. 6, Jalen Brunson. These make sense. I don't know why did Derek White go higher? Man, Celtics fans, you guys need to get Derek White out of here. He's not an All-Star. LaMelo dropped, I think. LaMelo, I think, is an All-Star. If there's a way to get the Hornets an All-Star, I think it's LaMelo. Even if he's an injury replacement, give it to LaMelo. 9, Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday also needs to get off this list. He is not an All-Star. And then 10, DeMar DeRozan. So I definitely like the front court for the East still. It's just, man, the guards for the East, they're Derek White and Jrue Holiday on there just doesn't make no sense. All right, now the West second returns. They still have LeBron James up here. Jokic went up. I like to see that. KD's still there. Obviously, Anthony Davis is still here, who's been elite. Kawhi makes sense. Sengun, Paul George, Victor, Chet, and Cat. I do like the front court list. I would just like to see Sabonis maybe slide in for like Chet maybe. I mean, not that, the Thunder are at the top of the West, and they technically, I feel like the top seeds are more deserving of having 2 All-Stars instead of 1. So I do understand them giving it maybe to Chet instead of Sabonis because the Thunder are a higher seed than the Kings, but I think Sabonis is a better player still right now than Chet Holmgren. Just right now. Don't at me, OKC fans, in the comments. But I still like this front court list. It's still solid. At the guards, we still have Luka, Steph Curry, Shea. Yeah, this is just a lead. These 3 are just a lock. Harden is still very high. I don't really agree with Harden being this high. He should be more in the 8-9, but then Kyrie, then Anthony Edwards. Like, Anthony Edwards should definitely be over Harden. Like, come on. He's the best player on the number 1 seed in the West. 7, John Morant. I agree. I understand that they still give it a job, but I think Bane deserves it more. He's been healthier, more consistent. 8, Fox. Of course, I think he should be higher. And then 9, they didn't even have Devin Booker before. Man, the disrespect to Booker. He's been elite this year as well. He struggled with health a bit, but he still has been elite. And I like them sliding him in here. And then Klay Thompson, of course. Get him off the list, man. What are Warriors fans doing? But, yeah, that's the list. And the first and second returns for the East and the West. I don't know if there'll be a third return, but you guys should be able to see that. But let me know what you guys think about these fan votes in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe to stay on the radar for all things basketball.